So get free or die trying. And that's really what you're going to see in this episode. So the basic synopsis is Andor and Kino join forces to help everybody escape. No one is getting out. Don't die until you put up a fight. A great line from Andor. So it's funny, the structure of the rebellion is reminiscent of French Revolution or French independence. It's reminiscent of Mexican independence. It's reminiscent of American Revolution. And the money's flowing from top to bottom. So it's not just a grassroots without any funding. And I thought a little bit about Pancho Villa, especially since the executive producer is Diego Luna. So there were masterful performances on the part of everyone, especially starting off with Andy Serkis. So I'm not really going to argue about whether I agree with all of Andy Serkis's views, if I agree with all of his choices about acting. And I say that because, like, you know, I had an exchange on FB where somebody was saying, like, oh, he made some mistakes as far as his choices. So none of Andy Serkis's choices before or after Andor have to do with his choices, or rather his performance in this episode, one way or the other. I've heard a lot of people say a lot of different things, and I think the major thing that people are fighting about in the Star Wars fandom is about why it is they feel that, for example, Andor is slow. So at this point, I realized that the vision of the executive producer, who's a gentleman who plays Andor, and basically Andor in general, was to take the level of writing of Star Wars to the next level. And I got to be honest, I think they accomplished that. That as far as Star Wars, if we're going to really be honest, the best writing that we've had in Star Wars has been in this actual series. So we don't generally watch Star Wars because it's going to be gripping dialogue or necessarily that the writing is pristine. We watch it probably more so for the basic interesting storyline and a lot of the action sequences. And Andor is not really action heavy necessarily. So what's really awesome is that the rebellion really started in the prison, which makes logical sense. I think the most profound part of this episode is that you can really sort of like think about how a lot of these escaped inmates are the backbone of the rebellion that's to come. It's just very, very clear, because you can go off and fantasize that these thousands of men, that they directly feed into one of two camps, going back to quote unquote a life of crime, or dedicating their lives to continue to fight the Empire. So one of the ways I want to close this review is a line from Luthen. So what did he give? He gave everything. So if you're looking for something sanitized, this is not sanitized. And the reason why it's not sanitized is because revolution or rebellion is not sanitized. And the choices that you see people make are really the hard choices that need to be made to get free. So are most of the people in this episode, or most of the people, most of the cast, most of the characters, are they heroes? Are they wonderful people? No, most of them are not wonderful people. But really what it is showing the dichotomy of real revolutionary tactics and the dichotomy that must exist in order for a people, in this case, the people of a galaxy, or really the whole universe, getting free. So if you like what you've heard, give me a super thanks. If you like what you've heard, give me a like. If you like what you've heard, you can go to www.sabcast.com and check out some of my apparel. Anything that you do will help support the channel. Give us a like, give me a like, subscribe. I'm out. So who wants to live as a slave? Who wants to die as a slave? Who wants to be a slave of the Empire? Nobody does.